Okay, so right now I'm blending, and I'll be pulling out the highlights slowly. I don't want to go too dark too quick, so there's some spots that are really completely dark, and then there's others that are very slight, and that requires the blending technique. So there's a slight edge on this. Another one here. Now I may need to blend that a little bit. And there's a little gray edge here. Slight. And this needs to be blended out some. Now I have an idea what's going on here, but again, it'll be pretty much a surprise at the end whether it works out or not. So I'm just going to come in here and blend out a little bit, give it some form, and do this other side. And there's a lot of little subtlety grays in here. I don't know if I'm going to be able to capture them. Some little blends. Now I may want to come in here and just blend and highlight, and just give it a slight little tint at the belly. I'll go back into this and add a little darker where I need to. Sometimes it's just a very subtle and sometimes it needs a little bit more. So right here I'm going to eventually go back into this and pull out a highlight. And blend some of that in, and I'll go back in there and blend a little bit more. Anyway, so this is beginning steps. I did a lot of paperwork, I guess you could say that, on concept drawings, and used my model of a gray whale. I did some freehand models, sketching, and when I brought up my model, which is more accurate than my imagination, made a lot of corrections and changed things around, so the gray whale is more accurate now. And at some point I will go in with some extreme whites. Here's another one on this side that I worked on. So okay, so now I'm doing the modeling. They do have kind of a variety of little patches. I'm trying to break up the surface. Now the front part of the head is going to be a little bit lighter than the back side because of the barnacle, and now this is off my model. I think I mentioned that already. Now gray whales are completely different from most baleen whales, like the blue whale, fin whale, and all the humpback. they have multiple vents in the bottom of their mouth on the bottom. It's to expand the area so they can take in more food. This gray whale, and all gray whales have like two little slits underneath, so they still have the vents for expansion, but not much. Gray whales feed completely different. They are bottom feeders for the most part, and they are either right-handed or left-handed, and you could tell by the baling which is worn down. So if it's kind of worn down on the right side, they're right-handed, and if they're worn on the other side, they're left-handed. So it is kind of an unusual thing. So they kind of turn their heads to one side, and then they kind of scrape shrimp, crabs, whatever that's on the bottom. And the process is the same. Now the most important part is trying to get what is realistic. Now they have a very large eye, but it almost pops out. So it's like there's a lid there, there's a lid on the bottom, but it actually pops out of the whale. They do have two blowholes. Anyway, so here is the process. So now I'm just doing little, somewhat barnacles, and the that are on whales, slow whales, and they do have lice on them that crawl all over the place. And I did do a model of the lice, and I did kind of a story when I was trying to make this model. I'm not going to go into it. It's there somewhere out there in my things, but it was a pretty gross kind of project I had to do, taking lice from a whale and doing the whole thing. Like I said, I never knew what I was doing, but sometimes, and I'll look at this and see which ones are a little too bright, because they do look a little bright. I know watercolors fade, so I won't make any decisions right now. I'll let it get to a point. And this is the detail part. Doodling. 20 cups of coffee. Anyway, so just wanted to give a little heads up on the process. Of course, this is not anywhere near done, and it'll just be a slowly build up of this. Okay, so this is a little further along. It was fortunate for me that it was a cloudy day, so I kind of added clouds to the background. I may go into it a little bit more. Went into the water, so I started off with a lighter green way in the background, and then started blending in slowly, back and forth, and I'll have to straighten out these lines, but added some light streaks, went into the bottom, and went into more of the modeling of the gray whale. kind of fading it out some towards the back, trying to indicate the illusion of distance. I may have to tone that down definitely. Okay, so this is the gray whale I sculpted for the Leo Cabrillo aquarium. Of course, I did like 15 different species of whale. Anyway, so this is my copy. Now, this is the way it starts. Okay, so did the sketch that was totally off. Here's the dolphins. I don't know if you can see that too well. Did different sizes to show the distance. Notice there was some close, but not exactly on the money. So I wanted it bigger, and did a bigger one using more of the angle of this species. Now, I turn the angle this way to make it look like it's diving in my watercolor. So I could do all the corrections, and this is what's really helpful for me to do all the corrections, change things up, see what it looks like, make things bigger, smaller. And there's more sheets of these because it's just an ongoing process of corrections and size changes and different things. But anyway, so this is the way I started painting. Now, of course, there is a lot of research before anything goes like this. I was just lucky to have my model that I can actually go, that's more accurate because that's all from accurate and measurements from actual gray whales. So that makes my work a little bit more accurate. So another kind of look at it. Anyway. Hello, I'm Steve Melendrez, a model maker, illustrator, scientific illustrator, sculptor, design after history museum in Los Angeles. Done a lot of different things, but I'm going to be doing watercolor demonstrations of the techniques I've developed over the years. And it's going to go from a lot of different directions. And also I'm going to be doing videos, I call them video posters for my daughter. So a lot of stuff that I can leave to my daughter about her crazy dad. So I'm taking a lot of different directions, but mainly three. So anyway, that's my introduction that I'm going to attach to everything I'm doing now, so I don't have to repeat this.